Oh, what a beautiful morning. Oh, what a beautiful day. I got this wonderful feeling. Everything's going my way. Oh, man, it feels good to be right on the river. And what is my project today? I've got this out. What is going on? Oh, that's right. If you were with me from day one, you would know that we're in the condo. We're just off of the kitchen, and there used to be a ceiling fan up there. And I'm not going to put the same exact existing ceiling fan back up there because that one did not have a light on it. And it was also controlled by some light switches. Here we got 3 light switches over here, and only 2 of these light switches controlled the ceiling fan. Years ago, 15 years ago when this condo was built, they used to install light switches for ceiling fans, and usually they would install 2 light switches. Now one of these light switches I know are for some track lighting that they had here and over here. We haven't gotten any track lighting to replace those with yet. We're not quite sure if we want track lighting or if we want just a head that maybe swivels on a base, kind of like a track light piece that fits onto a track light, but just that and not the actual strip. You know what I mean? And so I know one of these light switches is for that, and the other 2 light switches go up to the ceiling fan location. Now, in today's times, you don't need 2 light switches for a ceiling fan. Usually they only install 1 light switch for a ceiling fan. And whether or not you install a ceiling fan or a light fixture, you're all set up with 1 light switch. And years ago, what they used to do is have one switch. These 2 are probably for the ceiling fan, is my guess. One was for the actual ceiling fan on, off, and then you know, an old style ceiling fans, you'd have the pole chain. You have high, medium, low, off, high, medium, low, off. As long as you have your switch turned on. Okay, then they started getting smart and thinking, hey, let's put 2 switches there. One for the power, one for light. If you have a light kit for a ceiling fan, you would put an additional wire up there. And I know this was set up that way, even though there never was a light. See that? There's a red wire there, and there's a black wire and a white wire. Usually you only have a black and white wire up there. You would not have the red wire. So the red wire is for the separate light switch, and that would be if you had a light up there, you would hook it to that red light, that red wire. We're probably not even going to do that. We got a new light fixture, or not new, light ceiling fan, and see here, we're going to put kind of a modern type one up there. Momi picked it out. She wanted that. I don't think I would have picked that, but you know what? With silver, it's kind of a nickel finish. We've got a light fixture up here that's nickel finish. We have the handles on the cabinets, which is kind of a nickel finish. We're going to put a different sink in here, and eventually we're going to put new countertops and stuff, and it's going to be a stainless steel finish sink with a nickel faucet. We've got nickel handles. She wanted those changed. She used to have gold ones in here and gold hinges, so those got changed. You see the theme here. Everything is a nickel finish. It's kind of a silvery finish. We're going to get new appliances, and of course they're all going to be looking like stainless steel. It's going to be a stainless steel finish, but not that you can not that you see your fingerprints, which is kind of cool. Okay, so that's why she picked that. And most ceiling fans nowadays, they all come, I think they all come with a handheld remote. That way you can hook up the whole thing. And this one happens to have a light, but we're not going to use the red wire up there. We're just going to use the black and white wire. That red wire is never going to be hooked up again because we don't have the old school ceiling fans with the pole chain and a light underneath it. Okay, if you have the light underneath, you can pull the pole chain and the light goes on, pull the pole chain, the light goes off, as long as you have your light switch in the on position. Well, the one that goes up for the light, we're never going to use that one ever again. It doesn't matter if it's off or on. And because we're not going to use that, because this has a remote sensor in there where you hook it up into the ceiling, and it'll be a control module, and it'll you hook that to the black and white wire. It goes to the remote, handheld remote. So we're only going to need one power switch for that. Okay, and that's just going to be for the red and white, or the black and white wire. So I guess we could use the red and white wire and not hook up the black wire. I mean, you could do it either way, right? And so it's got a remote. See here, look at that, remote control. And this says flush mount. And that's kind of what we wanted in here, because this is only a 9-foot ceiling. We didn't want something that hung down too far, even though it's flush mount. Look how tall this base is. Usually you wouldn't have this section of base in here, you'd have just a down rod. But that's kind of different. And it's 52 inch, okay? The blades, so, or 52 inch in diameter. If you were to measure from outside to outside, 52 inches. I think that's what that goes. And see, you've got different ones. This is a 52 inch. Well, you can get them 42, 48 inch, even higher than 52 inch. But 52 is kind of the standard. And in this room here, this is the main section from here to about here. You don't have to include the hallway and that kind of stuff. Because it's over here, I would not recommend using a 48 inch here. I mean, we could have put a bigger one than 52, but 52 is pretty much standard. I didn't really think she was going to go for just a three fan blades. I mean, you can get them 5 fan blades. You can even get more. You keep watching later on, you'll see what we're going to install upstairs. It's huge. And it's got, I don't know how many fan blades it's got. But in any case, this is going to be the one that gets hooked up for here. Okay. Speaking of fans, okay, I'll show you the other two that we got. Okay, so this one here goes up here, 52 inch, and it's got the handheld remote. The other one's got handheld remotes too. And we've got a little guest room. Now the guest room is smaller, obviously. It's just a standard bedroom right here. It's probably 11 by 11, maybe, or so. And initially, this, if you were with me from day one, you would have seen that I had a light fixture here. And there's only a light switch. Now, this one is probably for the light. And this one here, I'm not sure exactly where that goes just yet, but I'll bet you that is controlled to one of these electrical outlets. There's one here, there's one next to the bed over here, there's one next to the bed over here, and there's some over here. One of these is controlled by this light switch, just half of the electrical outlet generally. And usually they do that next to the bed on both sides so that you can plug your lamps in to either the top or the bottom, and then it's connected to a light switch. But I checked that earlier, and I don't think it's these two. I think it's somewhere else in the room. But in either way, we've just got a light switch, and that is for this light fixture. And if you notice, we only have a black and white wire up there. See, that other one's a ground wire. Okay, we only have a black and white wire up there. Okay, and that's all we need. That's all we need. And by the way, this light switch has the dimmer thing on here. I think I'm going to end up taking this out and putting a standard paddle handle, single pole paddle handle switch right there, because I don't need it on, off, and a dim. I don't know how that would work on a regular ceiling fan location. Might not work very well. Might heat this up. This might be designed for only light fixtures. I'm gonna end up taking that out, okay? And I'm gonna put this ceiling fan in here. Let's see what we got here. Now this one happens to be from Fanimation. That is funny because when I lived in Maui, and I don't live in Maui anymore. Oh, poor Joe. All the ceiling fans were from a place called Fanimation. It cracked me up when I saw that at the store. We happened to get these at Lowe's. And see, this one here, this one's only 48 inches in diameter. That's all we need. Okay, fan control remote. Like I say, most nowadays only come with the remote control. And this one's kind of cool. Fan timer, auto fan, light shutoffs. This must be that you can time it. If you want it on for a half hour and have it shut off, fine. Okay. Now, if you don't want the light, it looks like there's a cap that you could put on there. Use without light kit. Okay, so if you don't want the light, you can put a trim on there. Most of them kind of come that way, either or. Okay, and it's the 3-paddle one again. And this one comes with a little down rod. See the little down rod there, and the extension. And I'm hoping this isn't hanging down too far, but I think it's going to be okay. But see, this is an 8-foot ceiling. This is an 8-foot ceiling, and it's going to hang down a little bit. It's going to hang down to probably close to 7 feet. And they tell you you can install. You want to stay between 7 and 9 feet for the height from the ground up for your ceiling fan. You don't want it down too low, okay? Or else you're going to start hitting it with your head or your arms or whatever. Okay, so that one's going to go in there. And again, it's the silver. It's kind of, I think it's a nickel finish. And she got some light fixtures. We've got some wall sconces that go on here, and one light switch controls all 3 of them at the same time. I wish they wouldn't have done that. I wish they would have had, I think that one light switch here controls all 4 at the same time. They should have put one light switch to control those 2, and then another light switch to control these 2 as a separate thought or idea. But they didn't. And I don't think there's any way I can change that now. But remember, I told you we're gonna put a big old whopping ceiling fan in here. Look how tall these ceilings go. And from the floor to the ceiling is almost 12 feet at that location there. That's going to be a bear for me to install this with my ladder above the bed now. Had we have known before we installed the bed, before we installed all the furniture, we should have picked out our ceiling fans, but we didn't. And we got the carpet going, and then we got the furniture here. We should have went to the store sooner so I could have put the ceiling fan up first, right? I'm hoping I can straddle the bed with the legs of the 8-foot ladder from here over to there, and then reach over here as far as I can and get those wires. And that's how I'm hoping to do that. Okay? And here's what we got. Look at this monster. Look at that. How many blades are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 blades? Are you kidding me? Well, yeah, that's it right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 blades. And this was funny because this only comes with a 6-inch down rod. We open this up, and of course we can't put a 6-inch down rod on that because of the ceiling is at an angle. The blades would hit, wouldn't they? And it tells you what to do here, and it was kind of nice how if your ceiling height here, our ceiling height is 12 feet, and so it recommends a down rod 24 to 36 inches. Well, I ended up getting the 36-inch one. Okay, and lots of home stores, like I said, we got this at Lowe's. Lots of home stores somewhere have the extension rods. Now they have these 12 inches long, 18 inches long, 24 inches long, 36 inches long. I even saw one that was 48 inches long, and they had all kinds of different colors. So we opened up the box, and I pulled out the little rod to make sure that it was the same color, because they had another one. This one's is kind of a nickel finish. They had one that was pewter that looked pretty close to that, but I had to look at it really close, and it was slightly off. And then they had, they had 4 or 5 different colors. So make sure you do your best on trying to get the right color. And some places have different diameters of rods, and I'm sure this one's going to fit. See, this one's got threads on this end with the hole, and on the other end it just has some holes. See, no threads. And you have to look at your rods, because some, like I say, are not set up right, or the diameter might be different than this. You might think, oh, what's the difference? I'll just get one, because I was helping a guy one time in Maui, and he drove all the way to the other side of the island. He thought he had the right one. He came back and it was too small. It was like 3/4 inch, and he needed a 1 inch or something. So then he had to drive all the way around, and that store didn't have the right color, and he had to go somewhere else. And finally he found one that he was satisfied with. It wasn't exact same color, but it worked. We got it up there, and it turned out really good. I think I have that on my channel, installing a ceiling fan in a bathroom in Maui. And I show you all kinds of stuff: cutting the sheetrock patches, running the wire, installing the light switch, removing the existing single gang light switch, installing the cut-in 2-gang light switch area, installing the switch, installing the ceiling fan, patching, painting the sheetrock, and all that kind of stuff. You have to go to my YouTube channel, main YouTube channel page, go down to playlists, click on playlists, and then go down to everything ceiling fans or ceiling fans galore or whatever it is. And then scroll through those. And any video that I've ever posted that have to do with ceiling fans are there in that location. And in fact, that goes for anything. You go to my playlist. That's the best way to find things on my YouTube channel, by the way. Is going to the playlist and then scrolling down through all the topics that I have on my channel for you. So anytime I upload a video, I try to put it in a playlist that kind of matches that. Or if I don't have a playlist that matches that, I'll put it, I might have to create a new playlist, or I put it in one just for fun, or for the health of it, or different things like that. So that's how to find things on my channel. But see, I've got the 36-inch one, and I'm pretty sure that's going to be okay. After I get it installed, we're going to have to see. But see, it's 12 feet, and it'll tell you. See right here, it tells you the height from the top down to here, 11 and a half inches. It's almost 12 inches with that down rod. And so we're going to do away with that one down rod, and we're going to put that 3-foot down rod. So, initially I was thinking, okay, I've got almost 12 inches plus my 3-foot down rod. So that's 12 feet, 4 feet, and I'm at 12 feet, so I'm at 8 feet. I'm still going to be from the ground up to the bottom, 8 feet. That's going to be way plenty. And where was I reading? See here, the ideal distance from the floor to fan blades is 7 to 9 feet. And so I'm going to be close to 8 feet, but I'm not going to have that down rod in there, am I? That's a 6-inch down rod, so I'm going to be about 8.5 feet because I got the 3-foot down rod. So I have to subtract that after that. So I think I'm going to be fine with that. And that's the other ceiling fan I'm going to install. And see, this probably has a red wire up there. Let's see if it does. Yeah, see? Here you got a green wire, a white, black, and the red. The red is for a light kit, an old ceiling fan light kit, and then that would be controlled by one of these light switches here. And again, one of these light switches is going directly to that red wire, and we're not going to use that anymore. So we're going to have a light switch on the wall. It's not ever going to be doing anything. What could I do with that? I could just leave it and leave it on, off, or whatever, and do nothing. I could take it out. I could rewire this box in such a way to where I don't have any light switch in there. I have a 3-gang light switch cover plate with a blank plate in there for wherever that is, or let's say it's in the middle and you want that blank deal over here at the end. Then I could take this light switch, slide it over, put the blank plate over here, get a 3-gang light switch cover plate, and then you can buy the little insert blank plates that snap in there, and so you can do it that way. Okay, if you didn't want that, but I don't think I'm going to mess with that. And see, this one does not have a dimmer switch. It just has the paddles. Remember, like that other bedroom had the dimmer switch. That's because it was set up for a light switch and not for a ceiling fan. So we're going to do that one too. Okay, so you keep watching. I'm not gonna include that on this particular video. These are things that are coming up on my channel that if you want to see how to install a ceiling fan, stick around and watch for that coming up. Or you can go to my playlist, because when I get all done, I'm going to put all these on my playlist under ceiling fans. Okay? And I'll probably make a video of each one, because I never know what I'm going to say next on each individual ceiling fan install. So I used to think, I've got one on my channel now, I'll just leave that. Why should I make any more? But I always think, well, whenever I make one, maybe you'll learn different things on it, especially this one here, because this one's going to have the 3-foot extension on. I'll show you how to install that. It's fairly easy. It's always best to read all your instructions though. And do you have to be an electrician to install a ceiling fan? Absolutely not. Yeah, what is my project today? Well, if you've been watching my channel, and if you've been watching and are a faithful watcher of Video Joe, thank you very much, first off, and thank you for being a subscriber, and you will know that I'm ready to install a ceiling fan here. Now, it almost looks like I could install a light fixture there if I wanted, but heavens no, there used to be a ceiling fan there, and it's always good. If you ever have a chance to install a ceiling fan, go ahead and do that to replace your old light fixture, depending if your light fixture is not in a plastic box and not set up properly to install a ceiling fan. Depending on how heavy your ceiling fan is, you may not want to install it on a plastic box, but funny thing is, this is a plastic box. Look at that. But it's set up, see that cavity there? The electrical goes down in there, and it's set up for a light fixture. And so that box, I know, is going to hold the weight of this light fixture. I'm not even questioning that, okay? Because there used to be an existing ceiling fan up there, and I know that ceiling fan's been up there since day one. This condo is 15 years old, and I know the building inspector would not have allowed the electricians to install a plastic box unless it was a heavy-duty style plastic box, and if it was set up for a ceiling fan. Now, most ceiling fans, and that's funny too, because most ceiling fans I've ever seen nowadays, new construction, they have a metal box that is supposed to be installed for an actual ceiling fan. And those metal boxes come in a pancake box style form that has little threads in there all the way up for the mounting screws, not a standard cut-in or not a standard pancake box. And they have some other ones that get installed up in there, for new construction, or if you have an attic above here, you can get up in the attic, take out a plastic box and install a new one, that's set up for a ceiling fan. Okay, but that's not part of this. That's not part of this video, because this is all set up for a ceiling fan. Okay, and this is the ceiling fan I'm going to be installing. It's a Harbor Breeze. Hey, do I recommend any particular brands of ceiling fans? Not really. This one just happened to be a Harbor Breeze. We weren't looking for Harbor Breeze. We were just looking for the actual design. Momi kind of liked this design. She wanted this condo to be kind of streamlined, to kind of be, what do you call it? I can't think of the word now. I can't think of the word, but she wanted it updated to be more modern. Okay, and so she liked the silver looks, and we changed the colors of the walls, we changed the color of the ceilings. If you've been watching, you've seen the transition that's gone on, and it's actually coming together quite nicely. She got this the other day, and that kind of cool. And I just hung that up there with some fishing line and up to those little hangers that I put up there. I wanted to get some white ones, and I found those at the store. That's kind of cool. I like that. She liked that too. And so anyways, she wanted something modern. So hey, silver it is. So, and the three paddles instead of 5. Most of them are standard 5. I mean, you can get 3, 4s. You can even get one that's 2, I think. And 2, 3, 4, 5. And then even more than that. The one upstairs I'm going to be installing on another video, you have to watch for it, has 9 blades, believe it or not. 9! Can you believe that? And this one's 52 inch. See, brushed nickel finish. She likes brushed nickel. Everything in here is brushed nickel. The faucet's going to be brushed nickel, the new one. The brushed nickel hardware on the door knobs, per se, in the kitchen, brushed nickel. Of the handles, she wanted brushed nickel, so we did that. Brushed nickel on the hinges, we did that. And her fixtures upstairs, brushed nickel. This even looks brushed nickel, doesn't it? And all of her appliances are going to be kind of that brushed nickel look, but it's going to be in stainless steel, but in a stainless steel that you don't see the fingerprints. It's not the fake stainless steel, it's something else, something entirely slightly different than what I've seen, and they claim it's stainless steel, but it's not. It doesn't show fingerprints. Look, she even got the paper towel holder, brushed nickel. She loves that stuff. And so, of course, when we went to the store, she wanted to find a brushed nickel. I didn't think it would look good in here, but you know, son of a gun, I think it's going to look really good because of the light ceiling color, and because all the other finishes, and because the floor is kind of a lighter color, and everything has its place. So hey, brushed nickel it is. I kept thinking we were going to get something kind of dark, I have no idea what color. You just have to go to the store. They have so many different makes and sizes and shapes and colors. You know, she's got this thing out here. I think we're going to put this upstairs, but I thought, well, maybe we'll get something kind of dark with the same type of fan blade color or something, and get a bronze one or something like that. But I don't think that would have looked right in here. So always look at your existing conditions, and to kind of help you, so when you're at the store, you can kind of look at the different things that maybe will go with everything else in your house, your condo. Of course, hey, we're not set up entirely yet. We're still moving in. We still don't have everything done. Look, I still have to put the quarter round install at the bottom of the baseboard. We still have to get a couch. And we still have to tear this out. We're getting a brand new countertop here later on. 2 or 3 weeks from now, I'm going to put plastic up around here. I'm going to put cardboard down on the floor, and then I'm going to be tearing out this sink, this countertop, the plywood underneath the countertop. Of course, I'm going to make videos of that. And we'll have a nice new transition here, white with marbled type quartz countertops. It's going to look good. Stainless steel sink, a new faucet handle there, new appliances, and then we'll get at that point we'll get the different furniture in here and different things like that. But you know, first things first. Let's get this ceiling fan up. So if you want to watch that, that's coming up. Now, before I take this out of the box, let's just talk about this a little bit longer. The electrical Now look at this. You got a white wire up there, a black wire, and a red wire, and a copper wire. The copper wire is a ground. And the white is simple, going from white to white, black to black. We'll have that hooked up, but what on earth is that red wire for? Well, that red wire, years ago, they used to install the wiring that way, and the red wire, it might be a red wire up there, it might be a blue wire, it might be a yellow wire, it might be, you know, a colored, different colored wire, but lots of times they'll use red, okay? And that's just a different power wire that goes to a light switch. And we have 3 light switches here. One of these light switches is not for the ceiling fan. One of the light switches is for these 2 these 2 light fixture locations. They used to have a track light up there with a little strip up there. One head was on that one head was on this one. We haven't figured out what we're going to put there, if we're going to even put track lighting up there. We might just put a light fixture with a trim cover on there with no strip, no track for the lighting. Maybe just a head that maybe it looks like a track light head that swivels on its base. Then we can kind of swivel it down to the wall or something like that. I don't even know if they make those. We're going to have to go to the store and find out. So we know one of these light switches is not for the ceiling fan at all. We got 2 light switches that are going to be for the ceiling fan location, the old ceiling fan location, because years ago they would turn the light ceiling fan on right here, and that would throw power up here. Then you have a pole change. The pole change off, high, medium, low, high, medium, low, off, high, medium, low, off. Something like that. And that's the only way they used to be able to control your ceiling fan. And then if you had a ceiling fan with a light kit, you would install an additional light switch, and that light kit would be hooked up to the red wire. And then that would come down to the base, to the bottom of the ceiling fan. In case you had a light kit on your ceiling fan, you would hook up that. Usually the ceiling fan light kit wire would be a blue wire that kind of came up there, and then you'd hook that blue wire to the red wire only, let's say, and then that would be controlled for your light kit. If you didn't have a light kit, maybe you decided your ceiling fan came with a light kit and you didn't want it, and it came with a nice finish plate, and you put a finish plate here because you didn't want the light there. Then you would, on that red wire, you just would leave the wire nut on there. You wouldn't even hook it up to anything. Okay, see, the wire nut is painted. You just couldn't see that before, okay? And so with our hookup, we're probably not even going to use that red wire at all. We're probably only going to be installing this with the ground wire, the white wire, and the black wire, because I have a feeling there's a sensor module in there that you hook that up to that, and then off of that sensor will be the wires for the light kit, and for the high, medium, and low, the reverse, the timer. Some of them come with the timer. I don't know if this one comes with the timer. I don't think it does. The other one we have upstairs that I'm going to install has a timer on it. This one I don't think has a timer, but no biggie. No biggie. We don't need a timer. Okay, so that module will read down to the remote, the handheld remote control. Okay, that's probably a handheld remote. I haven't opened this up yet. And you know, sometimes they have a remote that you just stick into the wall and then you control it there. But most ceiling fans, the remote control is a handheld remote. So then the handheld remote will be that you can control the power to the ceiling fan, the high, medium, low to the ceiling fan, the reverse to the ceiling fan, and the light to the ceiling fan. So that's why I don't think we're going to need that red wire up there. We're just going to leave a that yellow wire nut on the red wire probably. Okay? And so what that means, what does that mean over here? That means that only one of these light switches, the power light switch that goes up to the black and white wire, that's the only switch that we're ever going to use. And we're always going to have to make sure it's in the on position. Obviously, for your handheld remote to work, you have to have power going up to the ceiling fan. So we have to have power up there at all times. So obviously that means if your light switch is turned off, I'm calling it a light switch, but it's really the power switch for the ceiling fan. Let's call it the power switch for the ceiling fan, okay? If the power switch to the ceiling fan is turned off, then we know the ceiling fan is never going to work, will it? Your handheld remote is never going to work until you turn the power for the ceiling fan on. So we're going to have this ceiling fan power switch on at all times. We're never even going to have to go up there and turn that on at all, ever. Do you see what I'm saying? Just keep it in the on position. This one here, if this was the one for the light for the ceiling fan, this one could be for the light for the ceiling fan, or this one could be the light for the ceiling fan, or maybe it's this one for the light for the ceiling fan. Whichever one was for the old light for the ceiling fan, we're never going to use this one again. So it doesn't matter if it's on or off, right? It's just going to be there. It's just going to be a blank switch that we never have to use. Oh, look at this. Look at this. Look at that big woodpecker. See him? He's on the birdhouse. Look how big he is. We've got a couple different types of woodpeckers here. He's eating the suet. That's why we got the suet there. We have some smaller little dinky woodpeckers too that come up in there, and they just mind themselves and they chop that suet cake down. Oh, he's beautiful. When he flies, you can always tell a woodpecker when they fly because they're underneath of their wings are kind of orangey color. So whenever I see a bird flying along the river or around by the trees and I see that, I know instinctively that it's a woodpecker. Okay. He doesn't usually come out. Usually the small ones will come out if we're sitting out there and if we're quiet. But the big ones, like this big one here, he won't usually come unless we're inside. We've gotten all kinds of little birds flying around. It's fun having something like that. And see, we just got it hooked onto that right off the deck. Okay. Keep going. Hopefully we'll get some hummingbirds later. And we've got another feeder. We'll probably put a hummingbird feeder on that one there. That one's for, I forget what she said, what kind of bird. We don't usually see many birds coming over to get to that one. So we may take that one down and put a hummingbird feeder on there later. But we'll get the stellar jays coming down for this and all kinds of different birds. But onward to the ceiling fan. Okay, so that kind of tells you about your light switches. And you know, we're just going to keep the light switch power off. Or you can go to your electrical panel, and if you know which one, well, I'll take the light tester later and we'll figure that out. And you can turn the breaker off if you want. Never work on anything that's hot. But you know what? Can any homeowner, DIY, weekend warrior hook one of these up? Yes. See, he was just pecking on that suet. See, he's wiping it off his beak because it's kind of sticky. That suet cake, he loves that stuff. But do you have to be an electrician to do this? No. Every ceiling fan comes with directions. They're pretty simple, but you know, are all ceiling fans hooked up and connected the same? Well, kind of yes and kind of no. It's always best to read the directions. So when I get into this, yeah, I'll show you all that kind of stuff if you end up deciding to watch the rest of this, okay? So the ceiling fan light from the old ceiling fan, we're never going to use that. And incidentally, the other ceiling fan that used to be up there, it didn't even have a light kit on it. And so they never had that red wire hooked up to anything ever from day one. But when the electricians came in here, that's the kind of ceiling fan that they had. That they thought, if somebody installs one like that, we want to be ready. So that's why they had two light switches. And so, like I say, nowadays they don't do that. They usually just have one light switch, the power. And then you use your remote controls for the lights and for the power and the reverse and all that kind of stuff. Okay, so if you want to watch that, that's what I'm going to do next. I got to get my my nail bag on and get all set up, and we'll be ready to go. Now this ceiling fan I'm going to install happens to be a 52 inch in diameter. Okay, you want to look at that at the store, because if you want, like in a standard room, and I would call this a standard room, I would want a 52. I think they have them in 58 too. I'm not quite sure, but 52 is pretty much standard. They have them in 48 inches in diameter and also 42. So if we saw this, and if Momi really wanted this, and if it only came in 42, I would have said no, we don't need it. We don't want to put it in. We want something a little bit bigger because we want the air to be moving around in here. So we want something, you know, a standard size. So this one happened to be 52. If it was 48, that's kind of borderline. And if it was 42, absolutely not. 48, maybe. But those sizes are designed for smaller areas. Like if this was a 11 by 11 little bedroom or something, you could get by with a 48. Or if you wanted to install one in your bathroom, let's say, a ceiling fan. I've installed quite a few ceiling fans in bathrooms. You want a 48, depending what size your bathroom is, or if you got a smaller little area, maybe you want a 42. And I think they might even come 36 inches in diameter. You know, those are for small little bathrooms. So 52 is the way to go for this room. Of course, the first thing I'm going to do before anything, I'm just going to open this up and get my bearings, kind of read the directions on it and stuff. Yes, I look at the directions, I read them a little bit, get myself familiar. Not all ceiling fan installs go up the very same, depending on what types of things you have going on with it and stuff like that. Okay, so I'm gonna kind of get myself acclimated to this and pull this out and see. Oh, okay. I thought that was a ceiling fan itself. So I got just a little piece of carpet here. I don't want to put it right down on the floor and get everything mashed up or scratched on my floor and stuff like that. So I'll get this out and see. The ceiling fan, okay, some ceiling fan bases you can't just stand up. This one, look at that, I can stand it up, but some don't stand up, and so then I would take the styrofoam out, set the styrofoam down, and let it stand up all by itself. You know what I mean? And like I say, not all ceiling fans are created equal. Look at all these parts to this thing. And so I'll get all my stuff out, look at the directions, and remember on the handheld, on the remote, I said it's probably a handheld remote. I think most of them nowadays are the actual handheld remote. And see, it comes with a little plastic holder, and that plastic holder, you could screw that onto the wall, and you know, just for a staging. See this little plastic deal? I'll ask Momi if she wants that set up somewhere, and then you just kind of fit that down on there. You know, by the couch or something like that, or whatever. Or maybe you don't want it at all. Maybe we're not going to install that, and we'll just set this on the couch or on a coffee table or whatever. Okay. And most nowadays come with the handheld, but look on the boxes, because a few years ago, some were still like the old school with no handheld remote, and others came with the handheld remote. You'd have to read on the box, on the ceiling fan box, does it come with the handheld remote or not? Maybe you don't want the handheld remote, but most people nowadays, they do want them. And I was looking, that's funny, I was looking for the five ceiling blades, and I'm like, where are they? And I forgot, this one only comes with 3, and usually on one side or the other, they're a different color. This might be the same color all the way around. I'm going to leave that in there for now. Okay, and I'll look I'll look on my directions, and like I say, I'll kind of acclimate myself to this. And you know, if you've got a little sense in you, any handy type sense, I'm sure you can install a ceiling fan, okay? You can do it. You don't need to pay an electrician. If you didn't want to install this, and you want an electrician to come and install the ceiling fan, how much do you think an electrician would charge you? Well, of course, if you call 5 different professional licensed electricians, you're going to get 5 different costs. Or if you contact a handyman, but if you contact a handyman, maybe he doesn't have a license, maybe he's not insured, maybe he doesn't have his liability insurance, maybe all kinds of stuff. So if you're going to have somebody install this, you're going to want somebody who's licensed and who has their insurance all up to date and all that kind of stuff. He's going to come out, and if he sends his employee, you're going to have a trip charge and a van charge and all that kind of stuff. I mean, you could be facing $150 to $200 to install this. And you know, if you're going to do it that way, then if you have 2 or 3 ceiling fans, maybe he'll install all 3 ceiling fans for one price, and you'll get a better price than if you're going to just install 1 ceiling fan. You know, because he's already going to be out there, and he'll give you a better price. And maybe if you tell him, hey, I got cash instead of credit card, maybe he'll give you a break on that. Who knows? But save your money. Do it yourself instead. Now, I don't know if you were with me on the previous video, but the previous video was kind of a preview of me installing this ceiling fan and a couple other ones upstairs. Now, I have a ceiling fan upstairs in a guest room that I'm going to install that just had a light fixture up there before, and the light fixture has a dimmer switch on it, and I said, you know, we're not going to need the dimmer, and I didn't know if you could install a dimmer switch, leave the dimmer switch for your ceiling fan. But look at this. This is what I just saw in here. Here's what's acceptable for power. A light switch, and this is the old school light switch. Nowadays they have a paddle up, on, off, whichever. Here's what's not acceptable. A variable speed wall control. Okay, years ago, that's how you would do it. You could get a variable speed wall control for a ceiling fan, or here's another one that's not acceptable, dimmer switch. And they say that because sometimes they know that maybe you have an existing light switch, an existing light fixture, that you want to take the light fixture out and put a ceiling fan, and the light switch and the light fixture has a dimmer switch on there. No, that's not acceptable. Okay, and so on ours we have just a paddle handle, so we're fine. And I'm calling the light switch over here a paddle light switch. These are standard nowadays. On, off. That's a single pole, not a 3-way dimmer switch or paddle handle. You have to make sure you have a single pole. And most ceiling fan setups are set up that way. I've never seen one where you have a 3-way switch where it's controlled somewhere else. But if you did something like that, it would still work. You know, but like I say, they don't usually have them set up that way. Okay. All right. So that's something to know right off the bat. And I wouldn't have known that had I not started just reading. Just read the stuff that comes with your ceiling fan. Don't try to be a He-Man and say, I don't need to read any directions. I've installed 20 of these before. I don't need to do any of that kind of stuff. Well, it might give you some tips along the way of how they do things nowadays, okay? So don't forget, read those directions. Okay, I got it pretty much figured out. Read the directions, kind of looked at that. And it's kind of slick too. When I get ready to hook it up, I think I only have to hook up a white and black wire right there, and there's no remote control module. The remote control module and stuff is all interconnected inside of there. It used to be some have a big little rectangular remote control sensor that you have to hook up there on the wires and place it up in there. This one's slightly different. And so I don't think I have to do that. So that's kind of slick. So before I go up there, I want to look at these and I want to make a determination which one is which, but I'm pretty sure each one of these facing down should be off. Okay, we know 2 of these go up to the fan. 1 goes to those track lights over there that have nothing to do with this project. Okay, but every so often an electrician will go and they won't look at this closely and have it installed where it's facing up. And I can see, okay, I can see on here, it's written top right there. And I know all of those are facing up. Because sometimes if you're not careful, as you're installing a light switch like this, you might think, what difference does it make? But it does make a difference. See there? T-O-P. See? That way you know that these are installed in the right direction. This one you can hardly see because it's been painted over. You can see the P on there. See it? So I know those are all facing up. So I should have all those switches turned off right now. Okay? And so if I go up there and test out these wires, none of these wires should be on right now. Okay? And I'm just gonna, so I should be able to get up here and undo these wire nuts and know that there should be no power on here. I mean, if you're not an electrician, you want to make sure that your power is off. You don't want to do this with the power on, okay? And I kind of want to know which wire goes to where anyway. That's funny too. I put these yellow wire nuts on because that's what it came with, and then when I went to put the wire nuts on here just to kind of hold them in place, you know, for when I painted the ceiling and all that kind of stuff, the wire nuts wouldn't stay tight. So I rolled the edge of the copper wires over so that I could get the wire nut on there to hold. I don't know if I'm going to install with these same wire nuts. They came with some new wire nuts, and the new wire nuts are orange. And I think I'm going to use the orange wire nuts on here. But I'm just going to test this out for my own safety. Okay. And those are off. You would test a white to the black, white to the red, or a ground, you know, in sequence. So I know those are off right now, and I'm just curious to know which light switches go to where. I'm gonna hit the first one. I just clicked on the first one, and I don't know if that goes up to this ceiling fan or not. I'm guessing it does. I'm gonna guess it goes to this, and it does. This white wire and the black. My orange light came on. I don't know if you saw that. I don't know if my hand's in the way, but I can see it. Okay, so that first light switch is for the main power. And see, that middle switch, I just got the middle switch on now. Just the middle switch. I got everything else off or at the wall. That should be this red one, this red wire. And sure enough, it is. It's the red wire, okay, for the light kit on an old ceiling fan, okay? And that last switch is for the track lights. Okay, so now I've got everything turned back off. I got everything on the wall turned off, so I know I don't have any power. Well, any power that's going to hurt me up here at all, everything is off, okay? Now, if you want to go one step further, because some electricians say, hey Joe, you still have the power on. The white wire technically is a neutral wire that still has some sort of power going to it. Even though the breaker's still on, you should turn the breaker off. So if you really want to, you can turn the light switch back on, figure that out, and go back to the light, the service panel, and flip breakers until you get the right ones, okay? And so you can do it that way too. I'm choosing just to leave that light switch off, and I'm okay to hook this up. Okay, so I don't even have that first plate screwed up there yet, and I don't have to. I was gonna tweak those wires. I don't know. Maybe I'll bend them. Maybe I'll bend them out now. So I can bend them back into place with. Oh man, where's my my pliers? I got to get my pliers. They're in the other room. Be right back. Well, that's funny. I got some pliers. I had them in the other room. I usually keep them in my nail bag, but I was going to take them back to Lowe's because they've been acting up. They've been acting up since day one. I can take this and squeeze on there and look. Oh, look at that. Yeah, they stick. I thought it was going to stick up there with me being able to let go. I do it hard. It sticks, and then I have to pull it out. And it shouldn't be like that. And I went back to Lowe's for something else, and I asked the guy, I said, hey, these are cobalt. They're called cobalt. They're specifically sold at Lowe's. And I told him I was having a problem with the pliers. He says, oh yeah, just bring them in, we'll give you a new pair. They're kind of set up that way for a reason. Okay, so I'm just gonna take that curly Q out of there. I'm gonna try to take the curly Q out of there. I don't really want to cut the wires because see, the wires aren't sticking down very far out of the box, are they? And you know, I could cut this and then strip the end. And I could do that too. I'm getting this. It's funny. I'm moving this wire and I'm hearing something inside the ceiling. And so, see, I got it out there pretty straight. And usually you can do that on copper wire. You can do that a couple times. I wouldn't want to keep doing that 3 or 4 times because then it would make that loose and break off. Now, the red wire, I don't necessarily have to do that, do I? Because I don't believe I'm going to be using that red wire ever up here. In fact, I might put the wire nut back on it. One of the yellow wire nuts. And because it's going to be up here forever, I can leave it like that with the wire nut on there. And I might just put a piece of electrical tape on there too. You know. I think that's okay. And see, this has the ground wire in there too. And I could have done that after I got the mounting plate up here, but it's okay. I've got all that there, and I've got the mounting screws from the old ceiling fan. And so I'm going to take note of where those are so that I can just reuse these screws. They don't normally give you any mounting bracket screws per se. I say that. I guess it just depends what kind of ceiling fan you get, right? Okay. So I can see where those are, and it's funny because they're not. It's 3 1/4, so it's not set up. Usually there's a screw in where that slot area is, but they've got it on the outside for some reason, and it was nice and tight, and so I think I'm going to reuse that. You see, these wires are probably going to have to come out into the middle, and there's not a whole lot sticking out. Usually you want like 6 inches or so out of a box, but hey, I only got like maybe 4 inches up there. Because I'm going to bend them and come through, it's probably going to be 3 inches sticking out, but that's enough. I don't need that much, you know. I'll be able to work it out, I'm sure. Okay, so I just kind of wanted to check those wires, and I know that the power's off now and stuff, and I'm getting ready to install this piece here. This piece is that backing piece. It's got the mounting. It's got mounting screw holes on here. See, it's got the ground. It's got a ground wire attached to it. Let's get this zip back here. It's got a ground wire attached there, so I know that I'm going to have to attach this to the ground up there, and this is going to go up like that. And see, here's your mounting screws, can go there or set up for that. Do you see? And this has a little hook on it. That's kind of slick, and that's set up so when I hold this whole thing up there, I got to hold that whole thing up and hook up those 2 wires. And so those wires, there's no way those wires are strong enough to hold that whole thing up there. So see, as that is held up there, this has that hook on there. And so that's just temporary. So you take one of the outside deals. This comes with 4 screws that hold it up there on the sides. 2 of them have little slots in them. 2 don't have slots in them. That way you undo a couple screws on this side, and then you can lift this whole thing up after the wires are connected, slip it over there, and have it hold by itself so that you can tighten it up and then put the other 2 on there. But before, you know, as I have it up there, I've got that hook there, and that hook is going to hook into one of those side screws, and then this is going to dangle down. You'll see. Just keep watching it. It'll come to you. And not, like I say, not all are hooked up the same way. Lots of times there's a knuckle there, and you install that up in the ceiling first, a little holder, and then you lift that whole thing up there and hook it on the knuckle before you hook up the wiring. But see, this one's different, so that's why you've got to do it differently, okay? So now I've got to take this and hold it up there and make sure I can get that mounted and put the wires through the middle of that hole, see? Okay, ready for that. Coming up. And they always tell you, make sure that you've got a box that's strong enough up there, and that you have your mounting screws are plenty big for everything. And I've got the power off. I gotta look at my light switches. I always get paranoid, kind of working on electrical, just wanting to make sure I'm always safe. Okay, and I'm probably going to use the long slots, because the short slot, remember I measured it, was like 3 1/4. Yeah, that other is set up for a smaller box, and I know the 3 1/4 should be fine up in there. And in fact, I'm going to have to cut some of this off. See the slot here? It's not, I mean, the small one, the screws will fit in there, but some of that backing is sticking over. You see on there? It's just the rubber, the backing bit. And so I'm going to have to kind of clean that out before I can hold that up there. That's okay. I'll get her. I think you can see that okay. I'm trying to do it so that when I have that hook on there and it it's tilting on there. If I got it on the right way so I don't have to keep moving the camera, but I'm not sure. I have it here. It might be in the way. I'm gonna go this way, and I guess I gotta move my ladder over a little bit. I put a couple marks at where 3 1/4 was because I want this box kind of in the middle of this opening, and it's slightly off where the screw is, and I just want to make sure. Okay, there. About there. I think I got it first go. And this one over here, good grief, I can't even see it. I'm gonna have to get my my light, my phone light up there and make sure I can see this silly thing. Okay. I'll get my other screw situated up there so I can tighten that up. Okay, I found the screw holes. Usually I don't like taking a battery operated drill up here to ram these screws up, but these, I was thinking I might have to do that, but they're going. I should get a bigger Phillips screwdriver, shouldn't I? Whew. You see what I mean? I had to push these wires over and then back down, so I don't have much room. And we'll get this tightened up here, and then see if I need to slide this over one way or another. This slot can slide it a little bit. See? So if you wanted it centered exactly in a room, or you needed an area where you needed clearance for the blades, like in a bathroom or something, you would want that. Maybe you want it slid one way or another. Okay? But I can see where the middle of the box is, and I'm pretty good right about where it's at. Oh man. I may have to get my drill after all to cinch that up in there. I think I'm going to. All right, I'll get that drill and tighten her up. Okay, got my drill. Oh yeah, this is the impact. This is the impact one. So that's why you're hearing that. Good grief. I gotta go up further, and it seems like it's getting tight. And I'm thinking the old ceiling fan, the base was thicker, and so these screws didn't go up any further, and I don't know, because this is a different box, I don't want to just ram this up. I may have to take those out and drill a hole up in there a little bit further into the plastic so that the plastic box doesn't want to crack and break. Let's say a little bit smaller hole than what this wire size, this screw size is. May have to do that, or I may have to get some different screws that are shorter. And see if it's doing that. If it's doing that, I don't want to ram it in there any further. You know what I mean? So I'm going to take this back down and see what I can do. I don't think I have any shorter screws like this, so I may have to just drill that a little bit deeper into the plastic, into this plastic box. Good grief. I didn't think I was going to have to do that. Oh, remember I was saying, are all installs created equal? Apparently not. Apparently not. Okay. Yeah. Wow. That's kind of amazing in itself. All right. I'll have to figure out some other way. I'll have to see if I got some shorter screws or cut these screws off. I don't want to cut those screws off. I'd have to use a hacksaw. I don't think I have a hacksaw blade here. I'll see if I can find some shorter screws like that or drill those up deeper, those holes. Well, most of the time you don't have to do anything like this, but because that's a plastic box up there, and it's a heavy duty plastic box, and the other mounting bracket was designed a little bit fatter, I've got to do something, and I tried to find some other screws that were that same size, a little shorter. I couldn't find any, so I'm going to drill this. I've got a smaller drill bit than what the actual hole was. And it looks like I might have went up into wood, possibly over there. Might have been hitting some wood, but there might be something else up there. I'm just going to take these and see if I can't drive them up there without the bracket in my way. Because I could have went one size bigger on the drill bit. I'd rather do one size small. I'd hate to get a drill bit too big, you know what I mean? And put it in there, because then I messed up the whole box. I'm just using that one to go all the way up. And that's a ratcheted drill. It's designed to make that noise. I'm not stripping the head or anything. I'm getting the other screw because that screw is hot. And I don't want to use that one. Okay. Make sure I get it in the hole right there. That's something. Okay. Now, I just wanted to be careful because, like I say, I don't normally run into that when I'm putting one of these up. Okay. So now I've got to get this back up in there, and I think I had the hook facing that direction. Let's see here. And this silly thing had those plastic, some little rubber washers on the back side that I'm using because they were there, but they don't really do much. I don't even know why they're back there. In reality, I really don't know, because I don't really need it. Okay, but I've got them, so. Okay, there we go, right there. I'm just gonna do those up by hand a little bit, make sure they're starting to screw up, make sure I got it in the right holes, and I'm pretty sure I do. Okay, now I can ratchet it up there, I guess. Okay. Jeez. And I'm pretty much centered right about there. Okay. Okay. And, oh, I believe that's where it's supposed to be. It seems a little sloppy there, but I don't think once I get it up there, it's going to be fine because everything's going to be pulling down. I think you need that little bit of room up around here, okay? For that, there's a slight gap there, and that should be fine, okay? Once we get it all up there, we'll see how it works, and it should go up nice and easy. Okay, next step. Yeah, I took that down. I was looking at that. See how thick that is? That fits on the back side of the piece that I'm installing. Okay, and if you look up here, let's see, where the screws are is almost flush with the sheetrock. Okay, and that's making it wobble a little bit up there. I don't think it's supposed to wobble. See that right there? It's almost flush with the sheetrock. This side, in fact, the sheetrock's sticking over it just a hair. And so I'm taking those two out. I'm leaving the other two sides because I think that the other two sides should be okay. I'm going to try it again, leaving those two pieces out and seeing if I can get that a little bit more snug up there, because I don't really think it's supposed to be wobbling around like that. Okay. Let's just I was going to do this without you watching, but sometimes people are like, "Hey Joe, you didn't show the whole thing. What's up with that?" I think this may hold it a little bit tighter up there, because I don't think there's supposed to be that gap. You don't want your ceiling fan wobbling around up on there, do you? I don't think you do. That was about where I had it before. That's feeling better. Okay. I'm glad I looked at that. You know, this side, oh brother, this is flush here. This side is not flush. there's a gap right there, and I think it's because that rubber deal is holding it up. I'm gonna have to just remove those rubber things. I don't know why they were even up there to begin with. Wow, the screw's hot. I got it on my thumb a little bit. Let's see on the back side of this. There's this rubber deal here. See? It's kind of like a shim. I don't think I needed any of those up there. That was causing this thing to wobble around. And that should be snug up there. It's designed to fit snug, and you don't really want that thing wobbling around. Okay? And so I might save these for shims for something someday. I probably won't throw them away. I'll probably keep those. Okay, now I'm gonna look at that a little bit more closely. Maybe there's some sheetrock that's pooching up there. I mean, not much. There's a little bit that I could gently scrape off of there. Okay. That little bit could be causing it to not fit snug up there. Okay. I see what was happening from before. That old one, remember I told you the old one stuck down further? Well, there's little round spots up here. After I painted the ceiling a couple times, it still showed, and that's where there was some rubber gasket material that's set on there, and that one held down. But I don't think this one's supposed to do that. I think this one is supposed to be flush. I could be wrong, but I don't think I am. I looked through the directions and it doesn't say there's supposed to be a gap up there. So I'll look at it a little bit more closely before I put this in. I guess it makes a difference, and I want to check it out and make it right. Okay, I think I got it figured out. I'm going to have to use these after all, because I kind of put it together, and this is supposed to raise it, lower this down below the ceiling just a hair, because the other trim goes up just a bit. And what was happening is, see how thin these slots are? Well, when I put the screw in there, I had to make it a little bit bigger, and then it started twisting, and then part of this slid in this way, and then it allowed that to flop around. So these are the two slots, and I just cut that out, and I'm going to have to push it up so that those stay on there sticky like that. Do you see what I mean? And I've got that one too, so I'll have to be careful for those not to slide. Then I can push that straight up. I've cleaned off the sheetrock on the outside, and this edge fits on the sheetrock just a little bit. And that's gonna allow my slight little gap all the way around there. Plus I cleaned off a little bit of the sheetrock around there, was bulging and making it kind of stick up. Okay, so now I can put it up there nice and tight with that little bit of a gap all the way around the ceiling. Okay. Unbelievable. Okay, I got it. I had to do some finagling around. Remember, there was those 4 rubber bushings on the back side. I had one on both areas, one here, one here, one here, one across here. I had it out to make sure that it would hit the sheetrock. Even after tightening everything up, I had it tight. This was tight to the ceiling, and there was a big old huge whopping gap over there. And I think the ceiling or the box is slightly cattywampus to the ceiling, and so I took it back down. I took the rubber little trim piece off over here, put it over here. So I have two on that, nothing over here, and I thought, okay, maybe I can kind of tilt that a little bit. Got that sucker tight up there, and now I've got a 16th gap here, here, there, over here. Everything is fine. That thing is going to fit right up tight to there. It should be fine. I'm glad I spent a little bit of time on that because, like I say, I don't normally do these ceiling fan huggers, and that's what this one's called. It's called a hugger fan because this whole trim assembly, when it goes up there, fits tight to the ceiling. Usually you've got a smaller piece of trim that fits up in there, and then you've got an extension rod that goes down to your fan and all that. Well, this one is slightly different. See, there's no extension rod here. This is just completely tall, and so it fits up there on a bigger piece of trim. See how wide that is? Lots of them aren't as wide as that. That your top trim usually is not like this. It's usually installed a little bit differently. So that's why I wanted to make sure I spent a little bit of time to get that, because you've got to have that little bit of a gap all the way around there. So when you slide that up there, it's figured so that, see, there's 4 mounting screws up there. I'll talk to you about that next, I guess. Okay, so up on the side here, there's those screws, see? There's one there, one over there, and one on that side. Okay, and that's what's going to hold that up there. But you've got that hook. See, there's a hook up there, right there. It's kind of hard to see it. It is coming down. And I'm going to hook this whole thing up here before I wire it. See? Now, on this, you see this one's got a slot in it, and the one straight across from there, it's got a hole and a slot, see? And then these two on this side don't have a slot. That one and this one. See, no slots at all. So those 2 screws across from each other, I'm going to loosen up and take those screws out from up there. Then I'm going to leave the other 2 screws. And see, I've got to hook this. I hook that hook thing on this and just let it dangle up there. Do you see what I mean? And then I can wire it. After everything's wired, then I take it off that hook, slip it over on the 2 screws that are sticking out. I've got 2 screws up there that will stick out further. And let's see if you can see them. See that one there? And on this on the other side. I'll loosen those up a little bit even further than that. Take the other 2 screws out. Okay? Then this whole thing will hang up there. In fact, I can just hang it up there right now, just so you kind of get the idea of what I'm talking about, okay? I'm gonna hang that up there. I'm not ready for this next step, but this is the main guts of the ceiling fan. And you know, if I didn't have that hook up there, it'd be like, how am I gonna hold that up there and wire it and hook it at the same time? So see, I'm just gonna take it like that, and then you're supposed to be able to let go of it, see? See there? Then I can reach in there, take the wires, hook up the wires, and all that kind of stuff. Okay? Yeah, like that. Okay? So now we've got to talk about the wires. And like I say, that red wire up there I'm never going to use, because on the back side of this, this is the little wire harness. See, there's only a white wire and a black wire. That's it coming from the fan. Look at that. Okay. I don't even have a ground wire there. See the ground wire that's up there that's coming out of the ceiling? I'm just going to hook to that ground wire up there. And I'm going to take a wire nut from that green wire and the bare wire and hook those two up and just kind of push them up in there. See? And then the red wire, I'm going to take a wire nut and put it on there. And then the black and the white, I'm going to connect to the black and white on the fan. Okay? So let's just work on this, let's just get this red wire out of the way. Okay? I'm not even going to shut the camera off. I'm going to take one of those old wire nuts, and believe it or not, it's going to fit on here because there's a curlicue on the end of this red wire, and I did that to mimic the idea that there's two wires right there. If I would try to put this wire nut on this wire without that little curlicue on there, this wire nut would never fit. I'd have to put a smaller wire nut on there, probably one of the orange ones. And I got that thing on there so tight, I don't think that's ever going to fall off. But if you want to be real safe, I've got, let's see here, I've got some electrical tape here. I'm trying to, good grief. I thought I found the end of it right here, but I don't think I'm, oh yeah, I am at the end of it. Okay, I can just take this up here and I can put it on there. And when you put when you put tape on, you stretch it and put it on. Stretch and put it on. Don't just try to wrap it on there. Stretch and put it on. Stretch and put it on. Okay? Then it will fit on there nice. Okay? Alright? So there you go. You think that wire nut's ever going to fall off? I don't. I doubt it very seriously that it's ever going to fall off. Okay? Now I can push that in there like that. I'm done with that. Now I can work with my ground wire and this wire here. So I only have a little bit on there, and I've got 4 wire nuts that came with the see these little ones, these orange ones. That came with the ceiling fan, and I'm just going to take the orange one, and man, these orange wire nuts look really small too, and I'm just going to hold that up there like that. These orange wire nuts almost seem like they're smaller than the standard orange wire nuts that you get like in a little pack with the orange and the red and the yellow and all that. Okay, I pull on that, it seems fine. Okay, well now I can just kind of bend that up in there like that, and now I got the ground wire connected, and see, all I got is the 2 wires left. And you remember I flattened those out with the pliers, and this one still has a little hiccup in it, and I'm actually thinking my yellow wire nuts will fit on these maybe nicer than their little orange ones, because I don't want to cut these off and make these wires that much smaller. I'm going to leave those little in there, and I'm going to use my old wire nuts. And lots of times people frown on saying, oh, you can't use old wire nuts. Well, yeah, you can. They have 2 different kinds of yellow wire nuts. these are with a hard plastic outside edge. And then they have some that are kind of rubbery on the outside, and the hard plastic ones seem to hold better than the rubbery type. But and these look fine. I'm not really going to worry about it. I have some other orange wire nuts, but I'm not going to use them, and I'm going to save those other orange wire nuts for something else later on. Okay, so when I get ready to do this here, I'm gonna look at this. I'm gonna take a quick look at these wires, and see, they just have it kind of looped with that. Just with one of these. And I'm going to save that. You never know when you can need that for a little extension wire, an extension cord, and you want it wrapped up next to the wall or something, and then just tie it with that. If you don't have one of those, hey, you got to leave a loose extension cord sitting there. Okay, so I'm just going to look at this and see. This is stranded wire. Well, there's not a whole lot on there, and for the orange, those little orange wire nuts, that would be fine, but I'm not going to use those little orange wire nuts. I'm going to use my yellows, so I need this just a hair longer, okay? So I'm going to squeeze that and get this off of there. I'm going to just make these a hair longer. I like to cut them on a short, you know, just a couple spots, and then I move it into a bigger hole and pull it off. And make sure I don't get too many of my strands pulled off. See, I didn't get any strands pulled off on that. If you use too small of a hole, you think, oh yeah, there it is, and then you pull it, you take half the strands off, yeah. You just use the size too small, and then you should cut it off and redo it, because you want all those strands on there. Okay. Okay. So now that's simple. White to white, black to black. So we're going to get up there and do that, and that's going to be my next step. And I made this just a hair longer, and then I can kind of wrap the end around the other wire before I put the wire nut up on there, and that'll make it fatter too, and those wires should be fine using those yellow wire nuts. There you go. So are we ready to set that up there? Well, yeah, you could set it up there right now if you want, but I'm gonna decide to take these screws out first, and I've got to figure out which screws to take out. And you remember, the hook is over here. And so I'm going to take these two screws out. I'm going to put that up so that I can hook it on these two screws instead of the others. It doesn't really matter, really, truthfully. Okay? Doesn't really matter. But I'm going to take these two off, because once I wire it, then as I lift it up there, I could swivel it wherever I wanted to at that point. You see? These are the two mounting screws, but I'm leaving those two, and then after I get it wired, then I'll take it off the hook, use both hands, set it here, and squeeze it over those two that have the slots on there. You know what I mean? I should be up on a taller ladder, but I'm not. And I think I can do it with this small little ladder. If not, I'm all prepared to use the big boy over there if I have to. But I'm still going to keep that. Okay. I'm going to keep the camera rolling, and I'm going to set it up on that hook right now, because that's going to be our next step, right? Okay, so well, I got all kinds of sheetrock pieces down here on the floor. I'm just gonna hook it just like that. Voila. Now see, I may have a slight issue with trying to see the wires on this ladder. I think I'm gonna get my big ladder out. And I'm gonna leave that set just like that. It's called, that way I can hook up those wires. And see, that's taking all the weight up there. You just don't want to be monkeying around with that, because if I touch that and just get it off of there, that thing's going to fall down on the ground. It's going to get all messed up. Okay, so I got to be careful. My next step is grabbing the ladder, setting it up over here, and getting ready to connect those wires. Oh, I took that back down because Mommy came home and she brought lunch, and then I had to go with her somewhere else, so now it's 2 hours later than it was before, and the sun has changed, but I think you can still see this. Okay, I've got my wire nuts. I'm gonna go up there, got my ladder in place, and I'm gonna bring this up here. And just put it over that hook, see? Just like that. Okay. And now I got black to black, white to white. And I guess I'm okay where it's at. Like that. You can't really see this part too well. But I'm just taking the stranded wire and kind of wrapping it on the other. And I think this yellow wire nut's going to be fine. It's tightening up just fine. Like I say, sometimes yellow wire nuts are too big. Now I'm pulling on the small wire to make sure it's not going to come out, and it's fine. I gotta be careful with all this, because last thing I want to do is push it off of that hook. Okay. That's the last thing I want. Okay, there we go. That wire's going on. Feels fine. Okay, there. Now I'm going to rearrange these wires gently. I've got to get them pushed up in that little cavity a little bit, like so. And I want to make sure that this is going to push in. May have to rearrange the ground wire just a little, I think, like that. Okay. Now I want to lift that off of that hook and over the top of those two side ones. That, and swivel it into place. I got it. Look, I should be able to lift off. And see, if I were to slide this just over a little bit, this thing would come crashing down. But of course, I'm not going to do that. Now I've got to find my other two side screws before I even tighten up these screws here. I probably want to make sure that I can get these other screws in the side. Okay. And I'm not going to tighten it up just yet. I'm going to do the other side. I might be able to do that off my little 3-foot step ladder stool. Let's see if I can't get that. Yeah. Okay. And see, this is pushed up a little bit, not, I mean, it's about a 1/16 higher than the other, than the plate. And it's almost going to be up snug to the ceiling. If anything, I might have a very, very slight gap up there. See, I can kind of push up on it. And I got that one tight. I'm up snug. I'm going to come over on this side and loosen this one up. It's tricky because I'm right up at the ceiling. Now I can push up on that and see if I can't tighten that. My other Phillips screwdriver out. There we go. Okay. Okie dokie. And now I can go back and tighten up those other screws, okay, on the sides. And see, I can kind of push up on it because there's a little bit of a slop right there. I gotta get that snug. That. Okay. And I can do that on that last one. Yeah, like I said, these are a little bit different. Let's get you over here. These are slightly different than the ones with the little down rod, okay? There we go. Okay. Okay. Now I'm just going to do a once over and make sure I have the screws tight over here. Those look tight. Everything's tight on that side. Get up on the other ladder over here. You see how that worked? See, you're doing it. You're helping me with it, and you're watching and you're learning. That's just how you do it. Okay, I'm thinking the rest of this I can do without this tall ladder. I don't think I need that tall ladder anymore. And I'm looking at this, and there's on this particular one, there's an orange safety block. This was when they had it in the box for shipping. And so I'm just going to loosen this. I'll see that little thing comes off. Remove the orange shipping block before beginning fan assembly. And they tell you to do this like one of the first things, but I can do it now, right? I'm just loosening up the screws, and then this thing is going to swivel over and come down. Because whenever you see screws like that, see, like that, that's how you do that. Then you can leave those screws right up in there. Okay? And of course we want the light kit on, and if we didn't want the light kit, I think they give you a plate if you don't want the light to show or not. Okay? So here's another one of my little zip tie, not at the zip tie, but just a little tie. And see, these are if you're going to hook up your light. And of course we're going to be doing that. Let's just take a look at this thing down here. See, this gets fit up in there, and they have a white and a black, and the black is just going to be connected up to that blue line that's coming down, and the white's going to go to white. Okay, but before I do that, yes, I'm gonna look at my directions and look at this light. And I don't know if this light trim came without the light or not. It might be designed that, hey, if you get this one, you install it with the light. And if you never want the light, fine, you just never have to turn it on. But I'll look, because see, I think this plate goes on first before this one. And I'll just look at the directions and figure it out. Simple. Now see, this next one's going to go up, and see, it mimics the others, where this is going to go right over the screw head. But see, this one doesn't have a slot, so I'm going to undo just one of the screws. Then I can put the 3 in, swivel it over, tighten them up, and put that one in too. That's all I got to do for the next step. There's some other mounting screws in here, but that's to hold that next bit. So see, it should be really simple, Simon, to do that. And it shouldn't matter which screw I take out. Let's just take, it shocked me a little bit. I don't know why it did that, because I got the power off, just because I was kind of touching some carpet over here. Okay, and so I'm going to look at this, put that through there, line the 3 screws up. Let's see where the screws are. Over there. Put it up there and just swivel it. See? And then this one should be lined up where it needs to go, and it is. Oh, you know, I better read the directions. No, I think this goes up next, but I should look at the directions more closely, because I've got to put the fan blades up. I think I can put the fan blades, screw that up through here, this outside. Pretty sure this is the next step. I'm just going to tighten this up. Make it snug. Okay. There we go. So far, so good. Oh, that's funny. I didn't look at the directions all the way, did I? Apparently I didn't, because I think the fan blades go on first. I even looked at that too. I didn't look at it close enough. So see, these 3 screws, all I have to do is loosen it. Okay? Like that. I just took the 1 screw out. Take this, swivel it, and comes right on down. Okay? Well, I think now I've got to look and see how I'm going to install those blades. It should be really simple, Simon. Now these particular blades, they're the same color on both sides, and one side says this side up. And so that's what I'm going to do. Oh, that's kind of slick. That just kind of holds there until I get the screws in there. Oh, I just got to get it placed properly, huh? I'm not sure. Okay. Isn't that something? When you need the light, you don't have any, do you? Oh, it looks like it's lined up. I gotta get my cell phone out with the light and fish the light up there so I can see this, because I'm having a hard time seeing it with my goggles on and everything. Oh, I think I might have gotten it. No. I think I did. Good grief. Yeah. I'm going to need to get my phone and shine it up there, but here's the next step for you. Gotcha. You can do it. We're almost ready for liftoff, aren't we? It almost looks like an airplane propeller. Okay. Took me just a few minutes to kind of fish around for those screws and stuff, and for maintenance every year or so, maybe a little bit more. If this thing ever started wobbling, it might be because of the screws got loose on your fan blades, so you may have to take the bottom portion off. You know, this light trim that I'm putting back up, and making sure that those screws are tight, okay? Because trust me, eventually, years down the road, your ceiling fan is probably going to start wobbling. And I've fixed a mini ceiling fan that wobbles. I've got a couple on my YouTube channel. Go to my main channel page, scroll down to playlists, click on playlists, and go down to ceiling fans, and you'll find all kinds of stuff. Now, the funny thing is, I pretty much could have slid everything in there. There's slots in here where I could have done this. A little bit tricky, but I could have done it with this little housing piece on there. But hey, I did it the way the directions showed. It was probably easier than not. Okay, so now I've got those two wire end connections, and I've got these other ones, and there's on this particular one, there's 3 mounting screws up here. And I'm gonna look on this other thing. Now see, I'm looking on this. This is going up. See, one of them's got that slot again, see? And there's another one with the slot. This one doesn't have the slot, right? Oh, what does that tell me? That tells me that I've got to take one of those screws down. Just one. And I don't know, I don't think it really matters which one. Let's just make a decision. I'm going to take this one out all the way. Okay. And these two, I'm just going to unscrew a little bit. So once I hook those electrical connections on, then I can push this up there. Okay? And now I want to look at these connections and see if it matters how this gets clicked in there. I don't think it really matters. Sometimes there might be an oblong little connector, and then you have to fit the other one on oblong. These look like they're just straight on. Okay? So white to white, and I normally say black to black. Now see, this does say for light, but this one's blue up here. Lots of times they have a blue one. They could have ran a black wire there. They could have if they wanted. Okay. I should be able to just push this straight on. Come on. There. It kind of snaps on there. And this one should do the same. There it goes. Just hold your mouth right. Now, see, that's got to kind of fit up in there. And now I got to see where my two screws were. Okay, like that. And I think I got that in. Okay. Oh, I might have to undo the screws a little bit more. What's up with that? They don't give you much slop here. Come on. Isn't that something? Come on. It looks like I might be hitting the back side of that. Oh, I might have to kind of push that up, kind of at a slight angle too. Yeah. This is going to have to be kind of pushed up. It should fit up in here. Be patient with it. Come on. I'm not sure if. Okay, here we go. I wasn't thinking this screw was fitting, but it fit. I was just having a little bit of a tussle with it because it's never been installed before, I guess. This should fit right where I've got it. Okay, I think I see it. Boy, you know, it might matter which two screws I take off. Oh no. Oh no, there it is. I think. Yeah. I got it. Usually it doesn't matter what screw comes off. And it didn't. It's getting kind of dark in here and I couldn't see. They make things kind of slick nowadays. This is an LED light kit. So, wow, if this thing ever burns out, I have no idea whatsoever how I would have to replace that. It looks like there's some mounting screws here, and there might be a way to order it through the manufacturer or something like that. You know, but LEDs with a small little light like that, I mean, that's going to put out quite a bit of light too, I'm sure. And we'll see. I'm curious to see if it dims and will get brighter and brighter like some or not. All right, so now it's time to put the rest of the light trim on. I'll have to look at the directions and I'll be right back and show you how it's done. Yeah, this one you've got to install the trim all the way. You can't put a blank plate up there. And this has threads on the side of it. And it's designed to be able to hold up here. You know what? I may have to read the directions on this. I think it's just going to slip up in there, but it seems, oh, okay, I see. I'm looking on the outside of this, but there's some little nibs in here. 3 nibs, and there's 3 nibs on your light. Okay? And you line those up. And then it's supposed to twist on. that. And I don't know how far it's supposed to twist on. Maybe I should pull that back off. But maybe not. I'm twisting to the right. And it's still twisting. Okay. I think I got it on enough. Everything's flush on there. I twisted it. And shouldn't have to twist it very far, apparently. Apparently not. You just twist it, align the notches with the grooves in the locking ring. Pre-assemble to ball housing, then twist the locking ring tightly in a clockwise direction until unit is secure. Okay. You know what? That should be all there is to it. Now I've got to put the battery in the remote control. And that's all I should have to do. It seems like there should be more to the electrical than that, huh? But I don't think there is. And we just have this this other mounting bracket, and I'll talk to Momi and see if she wants that installed somewhere. We may wait until we get all the furniture in, and once we decide all that, we can decide where to do it if we so choose. Okay, and I think this is going to be all we've got to do. It comes from the manufacturer, and there's something in here that says to keep it on D, not CFL, and it is on D. There's a little button here that you can press this way for D, or CFL. You would push it over that way. I don't know what CFL is for because it says keep it on D. You can see on some handheld remotes, there's a little code in there with little numbers, and then the thing that you install up in the ceiling, there's a code with numbers up there. You got to make sure they're the same, and then you check them and make sure that another one of your ceiling fans very close by doesn't turn on, because I had that happen one time at my parents' house. And I turned the ceiling fan on, and the other ceiling fan in the other room went on. Oh, or it was somewhere else, with a condo in Hawaii. And so I had to get up there, and then I had to open the back of this and change the code up there, and then son of a gun, everything seemed to work fine. Okay, so I know it's this first one here. I'm going to turn that light switch on. Okay, no monkey business. I have not turned this on yet. And here's my remote control. This is low, medium, high, and light. Let's see if the light works. There, look, it does work. And it's getting brighter. See, you can see it. Now it's off. If I just touch it once, it's one level. And then if I press it and hang on to it, I think it gets brighter. Okay, all right. I don't know what that button there is, that one's for. I'll have to look at the directions. Okay, here we go. I'm going to turn it on medium. Look at that. Oh, I see. You know what this is for here? This is the standard direction. Normally you have it if you want it to blow straight down. Boy, I can feel it from where I'm at. I'm going to turn on high. Let's see if we lift off. Here we go. Do you hear it? I can hear it from here. And I think that's going to be just fine. Ah, yeah, that feels good. Okay, it's got a little timer here too, so there must be a time. And see this thing here, see that? That's the sun. This is a snowflake. So this means winter, this means summer. In the winter, you push it over here, and let's see what that does. I'm gonna push it, okay? This is gonna slow down, and then it's gonna go the opposite direction. You watch. See? Now it's going in the opposite direction. And I can adjust this high, medium, and low, or off, or whatever. And what that does in this room, in the winter, what happens is it takes all your air from down here and it sucks it up. Rather than in the summer when you have the blade going the other way, it pushes all the air straight down. But right now, I'm standing here, I can't even really feel any air. And that's what you want in the winter, because you're taking the cold airs from down here and at eye level, and you're taking that and it's drawing it up. And what happens is it takes that air and it sucks it up to the ceiling. When it hits the ceiling, where does the air go? It goes out. And it goes that way, and it goes this way, and it keeps going until it hits the wall, the outside walls. It comes down. The air hits that, the hot air. You're taking the cold air up, and you're bringing the hot air down from the ceiling on down, and it hits down here, and the hot air, any hot air that you have up in the ceiling, comes down here, and it blows down and gets you down low, and then it sucks up again, like that. And it constantly does that, and that way it gets your house, it gets your area more centrally heated, because, you know, hot air rises. Well, you got that hot air up high on the ceiling, you want it down low, don't you? So it's going to push it, it's going to push that air over to that wall, it's going to take the air down, and then the air is going to come over here, then it's going to be sucked back up. And so that's how you do that. And so in the summer, you know, we're getting to be summer, winter is almost over. We turn it to the summer, and now you're taking any hot air that you have up high, you're pushing it down. You're pushing it down here, and it's just coming down here, and ultimately it's going to make your room feel cooler, obviously, because it's blowing. And the air is blowing straight down on top of me right now. Isn't that nice? And I'm pretty sure, I think this has a dimmer on it. I'm not quite sure. I'm not sure if that has a dimmer on it or if it's just an on and off. Okay? Most have a dimmer, but because it's gone to the LEDs like that, maybe this particular one doesn't have the dimmer. And you can read in the directions. I'll read in the directions and see if it's dimmable or not, but there you go. Doesn't that look kind of modern? That does look very modern, doesn't it? The nickel finish, the 3 blades. I think she's gonna like that. And it's just gonna make everything look really good, and it brings the place up and makes it look modern. All right. I think she's gonna like it. I think she'll be pleased when she gets home. Well, that's all I got for this time. But I'll be back with more videos. And I still have 2 more ceiling fans to install up on the 2nd floor. And when I get ready to install those, I'll make videos. Don't worry. See, like I say, you read the direction, you'll find out all kinds of stuff. And remember, I was talking about the light. There's a light delay on here. Light delay. Tap the light delay button, which will turn off the light after 1 minute. Tap the light control button to exit light delay mode. Light control. Tap the light control button to turn the light on, off, and on. Press and hold light control button to dim or brighten the lights. Okay? So, and then it goes to talk about the seasonal slide switch. In warmer weather, push the seasonal slide switch left towards sun icon, which will result in downward airflow, creating a wind chill effect. In cooler weather, push the seasonal slide switch right toward the snowflake icon, which will result in upward airflow that can help move hot air off of the ceiling. Okay? Important, wait for the fan to stop before moving the seasonal slide. Wait for it to stop. I've never done, well, I've done that a couple times. It says to wait for the fan to stop before sliding the switch. But see, it'll work either way. The seasonal slide switch must be set either completely left or right in order for the fan to function correctly. If the switch is set in the middle position, the fan will not operate at all. Low battery indicator, that's good. That LED indicator will flash for 1 minute as a reminder to replace the 12-volt battery. That's nice. Okay, so all you need to know on there, and it had, oh, I see, it had the light delay. That's what that clock was. That's a light delay, which is only a minute. Some, I think you can control how long your ceiling fan is on. Maybe you only want it on for a half an hour and then you want it turned off or something like that. And this one doesn't do that, but anyways. Oh, look the visitor we have. Now that is a Stellar Jay. It's not a Blue Jay. That's the male. Look at him. I think he wants that suet here. Oh, he missed. Come on, you can do it. I've seen you do it before, little guy. Get up there. Ah. Look at him. Oh, he means business this time. Third time is a lucky charm. Come on. Get up there. You can do it. Oh, what a wuss. He's having a little trouble. He might be, oh, there's his friend down low. See? Down there. He just jumped down. Oh, he almost got it. He almost got it. He'll get up there. He'll get up there. Sometimes they eat the bird seed because that bird feeder is a bird. See, he's not sure. He just pecked at it. Did you see that? He pecked a big chunk off in midair. Lots of times I've seen them, they just land up there, but that guy doesn't know how to do that just yet. All right, enough of that. The ceiling fan is working good. Let's see if his buddy's gonna, nope, he's not. I'm hoping Momi's gonna like that. I think she will. It's very modern looking for sure. Yeah, the light dims. You press and hold the light button and it will get brighter. It's brighter now. And if you stop and press it again and hold it, or you can just keep holding on to it, it'll go dim. See how dim it is? And later at night, you'll be able to figure out, how dim you can go. The LED lights, it doesn't say. I'm going to have to read up on it really close. About the light, how long it's supposed to last, and what happens if it burns out. Just to finalize this, you might want to hang on to this book because it gives you troubleshooting, care and maintenance, and troubleshooting. What to happen if the fan is noisy, remote control does not work, the fan operates correctly but lights are not working. There is excessive wobbling, the fan does not move, all that kind of stuff. So hang on to this, okay? You want to do this. And then there's also an 800 number, and most places for replacement parts and stuff have an 800 number, and this is lifetime guarantee too. Look and read your warranties. Make sure you keep your receipts and everything. And here's something here too that's quite nice. This remote is pre-programmed from the factory and should work right out of the box once the battery is installed. Should for any reason reprogramming be needed, Please follow the syncing process as follows. Turn off the main power, then turn it back on. Within 30 seconds, tap the learn key on the back of the remote control. Once complete, the fan will start in low speed with the light, if applicable, off. So you have to press the learn key on the back, and when you pull this out, there's something right here. It says learn. It says learn right there, and you just press that button. That's kind of slick too, to reprogram it in case for any reason it stops working. Obviously, you always want to check if it's not working for some reason. Make sure you've got a fresh battery in there. And these are really small batteries, so if I was you, I'd go to the store, get a couple more of these batteries. You never know when you're going to need them, right? Okay, there you go. One ceiling fan installed. Keep your receipt, keep that booklet, keep this little directional pad, keep the plastic holder. See, here's the plastic holder. So if you want to put this on the wall, they come with two little dinky screws designed to screw directly into the sheetrock. But you know, that's going to get loose after a while. You might have to get some little plastic anchors. That it didn't come with that. And so you could screw that onto the wall, and then you just set that on there, see? Like that. And sometimes I've seen that as you come into a room or something. But like I say, I'll talk to Mommy and see if she wants that. We'll hang on to that till we get all furniture in here. And if we install it, great. If we don't, I'll just hang on to it in a little plastic bag that it came with. And then we'll set this, you know, next to the couch or whatever. Okay, alrighty. Good luck with your install. You can do it. Save that money and have at it. Well, that's all I got for this time. But I'll be back with more videos. Yeah.